Good morning, guys, and welcome to Thursday's FRT Gold live video. Hope you're all doing well. Looking forward to what is another excellent day of racing. It's day 3 of the Punchestown Festival, of course. Some really good racing on show from Punchestown today. And strangely, in many ways, for this time of the year, it's actually the jumps taking centre stage today, with not just Punchestown, but also there's jumps action from Sedgefield this afternoon, then at Towcester and Foss this evening, with the flats, just 2 meetings coming from there. They're at Lingfield on the all-weather this afternoon, and Redcar this afternoon as well, which is on the turf. So although the jump season officially finished on at the weekend, it's not like the flat season where it said finished for a while. You know, the jump season is technically underway again now, so it's quite strange. Of course, you're not going to see any sort of stable stars or big names until sort of around October, November time, when the flat season finishes and the jump season really gets underway. But there is plenty going on this afternoon, and actually the jumps is the take centre stage in terms of our tips as well today. We seem to have some much better form over the jumps at the moment, so while there's still the National Hunt meetings on, I think we'll take full advantage. And they just some horses appealed to me in this one more than they did from the meetings at Redcar, certainly. So yeah, really busy day today, another great one. Majority of action really taking place this evening. You know, we've got a tip running in the 1:45, and then it's nothing till the 4:05 at Lingfield, and then it's all about the evening races as well. So you have to wait a little bit, and I would say get the tips, to get the bets on as soon as you can if you haven't already, because with them taking place in the evening, some of them could be backed into some really short prices from what they were this morning. So we'll just talk a little bit about yesterday in a second, but just a reminder, this is a Q&A session. If you did want to join in that, just click on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. You should be able to join in a live Q&A session. You can ask me any tips for today, you know, if you want, or if you just got any general questions with regards to horse racing, that's fine. If you want any tips for the day, then that's absolutely fine as well. Nothing, if there's something we haven't gone through, or perhaps, you know, you want to request a type of bet, maybe you want a small odds lucky 15 to return some small profit, or try to anyway, or something like that, that's absolutely fine. So please do feel free to join in there. If you can't join in this Q&A session, or the or you know, you're not watching this video live, then remember you can email joe@freeracingtips.co.uk. You can get in touch via Twitter, we're at freeracingtips7, and then it's facebook.com/groups/FRT Gold if you wanted to join in the Facebook group there. So plenty of ways for you to get in touch. We'll just take a quick look at yesterday to begin with, and it was a much needed return to form yesterday. Actually, both the premium tip and the next best bet came in, which was fantastic. They were at 2-1. It was beat that was the 2-1 premium tip. The next best bet was at 7-4. So as singles, you know, they returned plenty of profit with a 4-point win and then a 3-point win for each bet respectively. And also, if you did do a small stakes double, which we sometimes say, you know, is good to do, maybe just a point or so on the double, then you were looking at around about 7-1, just a little bit over, not quite 15-2, but yeah, around about 7-1 for the double on those two. So a really profitable day. We'll hope for more of the same today. The premium tip, as I said yesterday, was beat that, and what a race that was at Punchestown in the sort of champion novice hurdle. I think yeah, a really good race that one was, and it was fantastic to see the likes of Barry Geraghty, who was on beat that and gave him another extraordinary ride. Ruby Walsh and Tony McCoy, they all sort of jumped that last hurdle together, and I think that's what all the big races are about, the big jockeys going up against each other. Barry Geraghty had the best horse in the race and gave it an excellent ride, and it was a superb race. Really was edge of your seat stuff for, you know, most of the race. And then when it comes into the home straight, you're up on your feet cheering him on, and beat that did it by around about a length or so, just a little bit shorter. So that was fantastic. Hope for more of the same today. As I say, it's the jumps taking centre stage with Sedgefield, Punchestown, Towcester and Foss, and then on the flat it's Lingfield and Redcar. Just had a question through here from Alan Corner. In the 6:45 at Punchestown, Champagne Fever, a lay bet. Well, I may as well tell you now that Boulder Success is actually in our lucky 15 for today, actually, Alan. So you can see that I am with Boulder Success over Champagne Fever there. Sometimes I'm always a little bit concerned, you know, it's not the shortest odds in terms of a lay bet, but, you know, I would certainly be taking on with Boulder Success. If you ask me whether to lay Champagne Fever or back Boulder Success, I'd back Boulder Success rather than doing that. But yeah, of course, yeah, I don't think I clearly don't think Champagne Fever is going to win, so if you wanted to lay, I wouldn't put it off you at all there. I just think Boulder Success's form over the larger obstacles reads better than Champagne Fever's, which it does. No doubt Champagne Fever's a top quality horse, but I just doubt whether, you know, he's a real winner, and I think Boulder Success is certainly that, and I'm definitely siding with him at the better value. So I would be laying Champagne Fever today. That could come back to bite us because, you know, taking on a Willie Mullins and Ruby Walsh horse here at Punchestown is always a bit tough. So if you gave me a £10 free bet, would I lay Champagne Fever or would I back Boulder Success? I'd back Boulder Success, I think, but so I do think it is just between those two anyway. But yeah, I wouldn't put you off laying that one. Thanks for the question. If you've got any questions like that, feel free to get in touch. So we'll start off this video now by looking at the premium tip. We're going to have to wait a few hours for this one because it goes in the 650 at Foss Lass. And our tip here is Catching On. And this horse is currently around about 6 to 5. And that was from 15 to 8 last night. Now, there was a sort of 7 to 1 shot that's been declared a non-runner. So there might be sort of 5 or 10 pence from the pound in terms of Rule 4. But that 15 to 8 is still looking like an absolute steal that we managed to get last night. This horse runs for John Joe O'Neill's yard, who we know is in fantastic form and one of the best in the business right now. Also has Maurice Linehan on board, who's, I think, just lost his £5 claim and is now a £3 claim, but I still think he's very good value for that. Catching On actually comes here on the back of a hat-trick after wins at Wetherby and Southwell over 2 miles and 4 furlongs. They were on good and then soft ground, so clearly seems to go on any types of surface. I think today's conditions are shorter suit and in fact might just be ideal. 2 miles 6 furlongs a trip, so steps up a little bit, but can't see that being a problem, I don't think. And I just think yeah, I think we're looking at the best horse in the race here in terms of Catching On. That 15 to 8, as I said, looked a little bit of a steal. If you haven't got that on right now, then you do want to get on quickly if you can still get some odds against. But I can see this horse being backed into odds on. We'll see how that happens. But yeah, if you've got that 15 to 8, we'll be very happy there. And hopefully we can make that a second premium tip in a row and a really profitable one. And one where we really take the bookies to the cleaners with. They're great when we spot some overpriced horses and then they get backed in. And, you know, we leave all our premium tip, people who have backed the premium tip, extremely happy. So that's the premium tip, and it's in the 650 at Foss Lass. It's Catching On at 6 to 5 from 15 to 8 last night. The next best bet for today, that goes in the 405 at Lingfield, so on the all-weather there, and it's Right of Appeal, currently at 11 to 4. Now, this horse, interestingly, actually won on Polytrack at Wolverhampton a couple of starts ago over this distance, and then really disappointed when odds on at Southwell on the fibre sand. Yeah, when odds on last time out, so there was a little bit of a disappointment. But for those of you that don't know, you've got your all-weather tracks in the UK. You've got Wolverhampton, Lingfield, Kempton, and Southwell. Now, Wolverhampton, Kempton and Lingfield are all on a surface called Polytrack, whereas Southwell is the different surface and it's on the fibre sand. And actually, there's quite a big difference. Some horses love the fibre sand, don't like the Polytrack, and vice versa. Often, you find it's horses that run well on the Polytrack, they will come a bit unstuck at Southwell sometimes, and that's why I'm going to forgive that run last time out. I think just didn't enjoy that fibre sand surface Right of Appeal. Back on the Polytrack today, a different course but on the same surface, and I think this horse can put in a really good performance today actually. And I think in some ways it might be a blessing in disguise that it ran at Southwell last time out and disappointed, because that might mean you get a better value for this horse now. If it had gone to Southwell and won, I think you'd be looking at another odds-on shot here, but clearly the bookies think are reading a bit into that performance. I'm going to forgive the horse. I think Mark Johnson, a shrewd trainer, Joe Fanning on board, a top jockey. I think this horse will bounce back today and looks to be a really good next best bet for the day. Lightly raced, I think a horse that will improve quite a bit, but just didn't enjoy that surface last time out. That's what I'm putting it down to, and I think we're looking at a great next best bet here, and that's in the 405 at Lingfield. It's Right of Appeal at around about 11 to 4, and again I would expect a bit of money to come for this horse. Right, the little earner for today, that goes in the 7:15 at Punchestown in a really competitive race, but I like Bridgewater Girl here at 7 to 1, and that's actually from 10 to 1 last night. So again, plenty of support for this horse. And if you look at the last 5 runs for this horse, been a really consistent one actually. Has 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a 3rd place finish in the last 5 races, and I think can be involved again today. ran for the first time earlier in the month, for the first time in a number of months actually, and was second by a neck at Cork. And that was a really, really encouraging performance from this horse. Was at around about 16 to 1 or so on that day, so it caused a bit of an upset and nearly took the spoils, of course. That was over 2 miles and 3 furlongs, which is interesting because all the best performances for this horse have been over 2 miles prior to that, and I think it might have just perhaps been just to get that bit more fitness into Bridgewater Gale, and I think he might have just been trained for this race, for this 2 mile race, and that fitness could be key. Should have a bit more speed about her in this race, and yeah, this 2 mile trip today should suit. And a big plus is the fact that Barry Geraghty has been booked to take the ride. I mean, Barry Geraghty, although he's one of the best jockeys around, he's probably one of the most expensive, to be honest. And you know, I don't think you book Barry Geraghty unless you feel as though your horse has got a really good chance and he could just get it over the line. So I think we're looking at a good little earner here, and that's in the 7:15 of Punchestown. It's Bridgewater Girl at 7 to 1, and that's from 10 to 1 this morning. Right, the lucky 15 for today. We start off with Lyric Street in the 145 at Sedgefield. That's around about 6 to 4 right now. Then, as you know, the next best bet will be in there. That's Right of Appeal in the 405 at Lingfield at 11 to 4. Catching On's also in there in the 605, in the 650 at Fosslas. And then I have been putting a little earner in recently, but I just couldn't split Right of Appeal and Boulder Success actually, and I've gone for both of them in here. So I've gone Boulder Success in the 640 at Punchestown at 5 to 2. Means your potential returns from £1 stakes, so we're about £270, but the money for a couple of these horses means probably now around about the 250 mark or something like that. So quite a bit shorter than usual in terms of potential returns, but I think obviously a much better chance of hitting 3 or 4 winners today. Boulder Success is a horse I absolutely love. He's done nothing but he owes us nothing, I think, actually, in terms of a tipping service. You know, we've tipped him up a number of times, and he's rarely let us down. You know, that race at Aintree was fantastic, and I just think he comes here in great form. Wayne Hutchinson's a jockey I really like, really rate him, and I just, yeah, as I say, I think he can get the better over Champagne Fever here. I think he's got the potential to be the better horse. That's what I'm going to say. I think Champagne Fever, perhaps not as good over fences, possibly as over hurdles. Time will tell with that one. I mean, Champagne Fever, no doubt, top horse, but Boulder Success seems to relish these larger obstacles. It's a fine jumper, and I think will put in another great round of jumping and go extremely close and hopefully produce another victory for us. So they're all the tips for today. As I said, any questions about any of them, do feel free to let me know. Get in touch. You know all the ways to get in touch now, and if you want any extra tips or anything like that, just a quick mention for the 5:30 at Punchestown today. That's the World Hurdle, that's still, you know, the staying hurdle, and it's Quevega at the moment is your favourite in this one. Quevega, of course, the wonder mare for Willie Mullins, looking to break all sorts of records. Has had, was it 6? Yeah, I think 6 Cheltenham Festival victories in a row. Going for, you know, another success here at Punchestown. Was around about odds on this morning, about 10 to 11, now 11 to 10. I think some people are wondering a little bit about Quevega. There's a strong field and a strong bunch of forces ready to go up against this mare. One of them being at Fisher's Cross, who's your 9 to 2 shot. And if you gave me a free bet, I'd be siding with at Fisher's Cross at 9 to 2 or Fingal Bay at 6 to 1 over Quevega, just for the prices. No doubt, I think you're in the wrong sport if you don't want Quevega to win this, unless you've had a hefty bet. You know, it's actually one that I'll stay away from a betting point of view. I'll sit back and hope Quevega does it. But as I said, if I got a free bet for the race, I'd side with at Fisher's Cross or Fingal Bay. I think both have some solid form, and at Fisher's Cross was a bit unlucky last time out at Aintree. I think sort of lost half a shoe, and it was actually a strange one. It was beaten by about half a length or so, but it was strange in the fact that half of the horse's shoe had actually come off, but not all of it. I think if all of it had come off, it might have been even a bit more manageable, but it was just half coming off, so it was almost hanging off, and you think every time that horse was hitting the ground, that must have been causing quite a bit of pain. So, you know, if he has a bit more luck, I think at Fisher's Cross deserves to win a race this year. He's been close, you know, sort of been the bridesmaid, really. So what's he managed? He's managed, you know, 3rd place in the World Hurdle, was 2nd at Aintree last time out, and could possibly do this one. Of course, Quevega's the one to beat. She's a wonderful, wonderful horse, and as I say, you're in the wrong sport if you don't want her to do well, I would say. So that's a really, really interesting race there. And one, as I said, I'm staying away from a betting point of view. And then it's only a couple of days now. It feels a bit strange with all this Punchestown Festival hype. I think the 2,000 guineas almost just jumps upon us, really. The 2,000 guineas is on Saturday. It is, of course, Guineas weekend with the 1,000 guineas, the female horses having their chance on the Sunday. But it's the 2,000 guineas on Saturday, and it looks to be one of the best renewals for some time. It looks to be an absolute cracker. You've actually got an easy, or a lukewarm favourite in Kingman, who was around about 11 to 10, maybe 5 to 4. Now you can get 13 to 8 on Kingman, and I wasn't keen on having a bet on him at that kind of price, but at 13 to 8, I'm certainly, taking another look at that. This horse has the potential to be one of the best we've seen. I think, that turn of speed he showed last time out when winning was superb. I think has the ability to take this one and some other big races this year. But there is, once again, and as you'd expect, a fierce competition here. You've got Australia, who Aidan O'Brien has said is one of the best, or said he looks like the best horse he's ever trained, which is a remarkable statement. You can get 10 to 3 on Australia. Then Richard Hannon, Richard Hughes, Tourmore at 8 to 1, another big fancy for this. And Coolmore and Ballydor's second string in War Command is a 9 to 1 shot. So a really interesting race there. The 2,000 guineas is going to be an absolute cracker. That I think it's actually going to be one I'm going to stay away from in the anti-post market. There seem to be so many chops and changes. I'm going to wait till I think those final declarations have been made. We can see and exactly how the market's shaping up and how it's going to work. But that 13 to 8 on Kingman does look quite appealing right now. But that's for a couple of days' time. Today it's all about the racing today and the Punchestown Festival and the other races taking place. So let's hope we can have another excellent day, another day of bookie bashing. As I said, you know all the ways to get in touch now if you wanted to do that. But thanks for watching today's video. There'll be one tomorrow where we'll probably look, of course we'll be looking ahead to Punchestown again, but probably look a little bit more in detail at the 2,000 guineas. And then on Saturday and Sunday we'll talk about the 2,000 and the 1,000 guineas, I'm sure. So look forward to that, but look forward to today's racing to start with, and yeah, let's hope for another good day. Thanks for watching today, and I'll speak to you all a little bit later on. If not, tomorrow's video 11 AM once again. Thanks, and bye-bye.